quiet is often considered a cure for a weary mind. You find it here on Saturday mornings.
There's starting to be a few show up now.
Peace, even when the solitude starts to fade.
There's always something to talk about.
Pass by the Loveland Golden Corral.
Tell him he's got to keep taking his meds, man.
And Charlie Nash will greet you at the door.
The camaraderie.
With a crowd this size, you might think they were giving something away. These folks gave plenty.
You better start learning how to take your meds, buddy.
Hence their name. Proud American Military Veterans, PAMVETS for short. A group with a standing appointment for breakfast every Saturday morning.
And we all have the same purpose, for God and country.
PAMVETS doesn't have exact numbers, but they say over the years, about 600 different veterans have traded stories over plates of eggs and bacon.
It's just unbelievable, you know?
600 different veterans owe this time to one man.
Oh, he'd love it.
Who is no longer with them.
He'd love it.
Virgil Horton would meet with other World War II vets at a small table at the McDonald's just down the road.
We owe him a lot.
He thought a veteran should never sit alone.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good.
Coffee?
Yes, please.
If you ever served, you had a seat at the table.
Virgil come over and said, hey, you don't need to sit over here. You belong over there with us.
It made this struggling Vietnam-era vet feel like he belonged.
They're family. These are as close as my real family.
Hard to say how much this group means to him.
Yeah.
Charlie thinks Virgil would be proud. His group that once met at a small table.
Corey, where are you?
Now takes up most of the restaurant.
How many did you say was here this morning? 117. Huh? 117.
And the mission has stayed the same.
You come here, you talk to people, and you can be upfront with them because they went through the same thing you have.
Someone's always there to help, no matter the era.
I was in the Army in 1956. Right out of high school.
Bob Stubblefield thought he'd never return to Colorado after basic training at Fort Carson. But health did what health so often does and forced him to move back here so his daughter could care for him. He knew no one until he found PAMVETS.
It's been wonderful.
His daughter brings him here whenever he's up to it.
She wants to get some veterans around her dad and take a picture because she's not so sure how much longer her dad's going to be around.
The visits are fewer and further between these days since Bob entered hospice.
You know, when I went over and talked to him the other day, we know where he's going. It's okay. He won't be in pain. He won't be anything. I mean, he'll be with the Lord. See?
These men and women find peace without solitude.
The veterans, just a bunch of great guys. I'm proud to be one of them.
They sit together.
I miss Virgil. Yep. Because Virgil was family.
They sit together because someone once told them they always have a seat.
And that's what we have here is family.
For Next, I'm Steve Staeger.
What can we help you with today?
A fresh start is rarely a lonely endeavor.
How do you take your coffee?
So it's only fitting that many of them start here.
Is there anything else I can help you with while we wait?
This is City Square.
There you go.
Thank you.
A place that connects our homeless neighbors with the people and the resources they need to start over. Food, employment assistance, and today,
Got a bunch of bikes back there today.
transportation.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All of it free of charge to people who need it.
Well, in this economy, and
People like Brian Carter.
you just deal with it.
Brian lost his job 3 years ago.
Use my 401k and everything to pay for the rent.
He paid off the rest of his lease, filed for bankruptcy, moved in with a friend, and worked wherever he could, searching for his fresh start.
Applying for jobs, one job after another, making phone calls.
That perseverance
But it only makes you stronger.
paid off this week.
Yes, I just got a new job, and I'm working at night as a mail sorter, and it's temp to hire. And I came here today just to get a bike. Hi, Dave. I talked to you on the phone. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Cityscape partners with Recycle Bicycles
You know, I'm not really picky.
to give bikes to those in need.
This bike, 10 speed.
It's hard to start over all by yourself.
And if you have trouble with it, you bring it back here and we'll fix it for you.
Good thing Brian Carter's not alone. For Next, I'm Steve Staeger. Nerves are not expected here.
Okay, now you gotta pay attention. We don't know where she is.
Nerves are typically shed along the race's path long before you hit the finish line,
It's a big event.
which makes the look on Gibran Assad's face rather unexpected.
We've been dating for 17 months, and this is our first half marathon.
All right, sure. He's allowed to be nervous at a moment like this. The woman he loves is running her first race. He wants her to do well, and he wants her to feel the support.
So she's gonna cross the finish line. I'm gonna embrace her,
So you can't blame him for being a little nervous.
and I'm just gonna go down to a knee and go for it. So we'll see how it goes.
After all, that's no power bar in his back pocket.
I think it's gonna be yes, but I don't want to jinx it.
The wait for that answer is something of a marathon of its own.
Hey, Morgan, come on a sec, come here.
But at the finish line, you realize
Come on up here for a second.
the wait was worth it.
Well, yeah, well, you know what? Somebody wants to wish you a special congratulations. Turn around.
Oh my.
Ladies and gentlemen.
How was it? Baby, I love you so much.
Nerves are never expected at the finish line. But in the end, this is more like the start of a life full of the unexpected.
You probably didn't expect that, did you?
I did not. I did not. I expected a beer, not a ring.
In Denver, Steve Staeger, 9 News. On a trip meant to pay honor to those who served, the returning flight is no different.
All right, can you hear me?
Look no further than this crew member's name tag
My name's Joy.
to learn what's coming next.
It's too hard to explain.
While they were far from home, these men and women cherished messages from friends and family.
Technical Sergeant Edward Nunez. Sergeant Buster Chidster. Seaman 3rd Vernon Helbig. Fireman 1st Class Millard Bergstaller. U.S. Navy, where are you at?
Now these letters have a much different meaning.
Corporal Donald Bush, United States Army, where are you at, sir?
They are messages of thanks.
Thank you for keeping us safe.
Dear veteran, my name is Courtney. I am 8 years old. We are free because of you.
Dear veteran, thank you so much for your service to our country.
The USA is now the home of the free and the brave because of you.
I hope that you have fun at Washington, D.C., so that you can be proud of what you did.
In the back, I have a small American flag.
Mrs. Helbig's 4th grade class hasn't quite hit this page of the history book yet,
And we don't really study the history of World War II in 4th grade,
but they get it.
but these kids do understand empathy and honor and patriotism. They have hearts of gold.
Dear veteran, I hope you have a good trip to Washington, D.C. I appreciate you risking your life for our country. Thank you, Mr. Helbig. I salute you. Sincerely, Tyson Watson.
These kids get it almost as much as family members do.
Dear Dad, I can't begin to tell you how impactful this trip is for me.
Marcy Sontag has been waiting years to take her dad on this special trip.
He honestly, I think, feels he played a small part in the war. He was a cook on a repair ship in the Pacific.
It wasn't hard to find the right words.
You were barely old enough to serve before the war ended, and yet you signed up as soon as you could.
The right words to remind him that his service matters.
You mean the world to me. Thank you for serving, Dad. I love you, Marcy. I hope he realizes how important his generation was.
Dear Papa, thank you so much for everything you've done for me.
She got a good seat to watch as he did.
Look at that stack of letters we got from the kids. I can't explain to you what it means. I mean, it's just priceless. You know, it's a trip of a lifetime.
Thank you for serving for the red, white, and blue.
Thank you is a phrase we learn early in life.
Thank you for risking your life.
It's also a phrase so often forgotten.
Thank you for giving us freedom.
Perhaps that's what makes it so powerful.
I'm an ex-teacher, retired teacher, and I love kids. And when kids love me, I'm happy. And I'm crying. Thank you so much for your service to our great country.
They are just a few words on a sheet of paper.
It's kind of hard for me to say right now. I'm all broke up over this. Just to be honored like this, I'm sorry. I can't say much.
Just a few words that have these heroes speechless. Steve Staeger, 9 News.